Hello crocheters, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia, and today we're working up a really cute crochet wrap or shawl. And this is crochet beginner friendly, so don't be afraid to jump in and give it a try if you're new. Please, if you do like this project, the tutorial, my channel, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. And if at all possible, please watch all the way through. Okay, let's get started. So for this project, we're going to use, you can actually use any yarn. I'm using a number 4. I recommend a number 3 or a number 4. And the crochet hook for the number 4 that I'm using here is a G or 4.25 millimeter, and you'll need some scissors, and that's about it. Okay, now I've already got started here. What we do here to start is a chain of 69, and then we will do a row of single crochet. So you would start that in the second chain from the hook. Do not count the loop on the hook. Second chain from the hook, single crochet in each chain. You will end up with 68 single crochets, chain 1 turn, and then we're going to do 3 more rows, back loop only, single crochet. So for those of you who need a little refresher or who have not done a back loop only, all it is you turn the work toward you so that you see the chain at the top. So you just insert the hook in between the front and back loop. So you insert it in the middle and then just work your regular single crochet. And that's creating a ridge. And we're just doing that for a little added interest, that's all. And make sure you're counting so that you don't miss your last stitch at the end. Make sure you're counting your stitches. 68. Now we're going to start on the shell row. Chain 3. Turn. So you will skip the first 3 stitches, and you are counting that first one right under or next to the turning chain. 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th one, do 3 double crochets. Chain 2, in the same stitch, do 3 more double crochets. Okay, now this is what we will be repeating down the row. So we're going to skip 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 6th one, we will do the shell again with the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same stitch. Oh, that's pretty already, isn't it? Okay, so now repeat that until we get to the last 4 stitches. Okay, so you're going to skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 6th stitch, work your shell. So at the end of that first shell row, you worked your last shell. You had 4 stitches remaining, and you will do a double crochet into the last stitch. Double crochet, chain 3, turn. Now you're going to enter a shell stitch into each of the 2 chain spaces. So just as before, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. chain 2, oops, and there you go. So you will be doing that into each shell. And there's no chains in between. At the end of the second row of the shells, you will enter your double crochet into the top of that turning chain at the end of the row. Double crochet, chain 3, turn and repeat. You would have worked for a total of 5 of the shell rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to work some rows of the single crochet. So at the end of your last shell row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to work a row of single crochets. Start your single crochet in that very first space. And for this row, you can work a little more relaxed tension. Now we're going to work a single crochet into the top of every double crochet below. So every double crochet of the shell stitch, we're going to work a single crochet. Okay, so you're working under those 2 strands that form that chain at the top. Single crochet. There's the next one. There's the third one. Now skip right on over to that next cluster of 3. Okay, so the top of that first one, single crochet. The next one, single crochet. And then there's the next one. Okay, so you have 6 single crochets and that first one that you started here. So now just go right into the next set. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now do that all the way across till you get to the end. You will enter your last single crochet into the top of that turning chain. And you should have 68 single crochets just like we had down here. Then you're going to chain 1 turn and you'll start your back loop only single crochets. Now for the second row and the subsequent single crochet rows, you're doing back loop only. So we're creating the ridges again. So again, 68 back loop only single crochets. You would have worked for 6 rows of back loop only single crochet. That is counting that first row that was just a regular single crochet. So 6 total rows of the single crochets, and then we start with the shell row again. And we will work for the 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's number 1. So continue for another 4 rows, just as you did down here. And that will be your repeat pattern. So we'll be doing 5 rows of the shell stitches and 6 rows of the back loop only single crochet. So if you recall, when you finish your last back loop only single crochet, chain 3, turn, skip the first 3 stitches. In the 4th, you will do your first cluster, your first shell, skip 5 stitches, and then in the 6th one, you do your next shell, skip 5, shell, and keep going. So just as before, when you get to the last 4, you'll skip 3 and double crochet in the last stitch. Chain 3, turn, and continue. If you get lost, just go back to the beginning of the video where we did the shells. So you would have worked for a total of 9 sets of these shell rows. Okay, so 9 of these sets, plus of course in between you're doing the single crochet rows, back loop onlys. And then we end with the 4 rows of the single crochet and the back loop only single crochet, just as we did at the beginning. That's how we started, remember? Here's where we started, and I ended up on the right side of the work. Here's the tail from the foundation chain, which indicates this is the right side. So now, on either side of the edges, we're going to do a row of single crochet just to clean that up a little bit, just to make it look a little bit neater. Okay, so 1 row of single crochet on this side, 1 row on the other side. If you prefer, you can add as many rows as you want. I'm only going to do 1. And of course, we don't need to do the top or the bottom. That's already covered. So just take you did your last back loop only single crochet of that last row. So now you're going to turn this long ways and work this way. So just enter a single crochet in approximately every row. Use your discretion if you feel like you've got too big of a gap, like I do right here. Then that tells you want to enter another single crochet in that same space. Work your way down. You'll want 2 in here. So just continue all the way down till you get to the very end. See how that already creates a very nice, neat edge. Okay, so continue that to the end of the edge. Then tie it off. Leave a tail so you can weave in the tail to hide it. And then attach the yarn. You'll have to cut the yarn off when you're done with this side. Then you'll have to attach the yarn. Remember, keep this right side facing so it's the same as the other side. And attach the yarn in the bottom corner and work your way up with the single crochets. Here is the finished crochet shell shawl or a wrap, depending on how long you make it. I kept it a little on the shorter side to use as a shawl. If you want to throw it over your shoulders, then you'll want to make it longer. So just add however many more sets that you need for your preferred length. Let me show you the second version. So I made a second version using a number 3 yarn. So for this one, I ended up using 11 of the sets of these shell rows. So the blue one was 9, and this one I used 11. Plus, of course, all of the single crochet rows in between. Also for this version, I decided not to go with back loop only single crochets. I just used single crochets for those rows. That was the only thing I did different with the number 3 yarn on this version, was doing the 11 sets of the shells. Otherwise, the pattern stayed exactly the same. Keep watching, and please do come back for the next project. Thank you so much.